Trina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm working on a Valentine where I've done quite a few things here in Cricut Design Space that I'd like to share with you. I've worked with aligning and offsets and slicing, so it's going to be a big day in Design Space. So grab a cup of coffee or cocoa or cider and let's take a look at this. All right, as with many of my greeting cards, I like to start off with my card base so I know what size we are going to work with. And most of my cards are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I simply bring in a shape, bring it in here, I unlock it, and I size it by typing in at my keyboard 4.25 by 5.5, hit my return, and there's my card blank. Let's go ahead and make it cream. In case you're unsure how to make this a creamy color, what you're going to do is you're going to choose this orange, hit advanced, and then just slide this over. And then you get a cream color. You can make it as light as you like. Okay, so there's our card base. I'm going to go ahead and lock that up, and it's ready. Next, you're going to want to bring in this rectangle, as well as maybe this rectangle. So let's go ahead and bring those two pieces in. So let's go ahead and bring in a square, and we know we're going to need a square here, a square here, a square here, and a square here. Okay, so we know we need 1, 2, 3, 4 different squares. So I'm just going to right click, duplicate. I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to duplicate. That gives me 4 squares to work with. All right, so I know this is my card base. I can just unlock it, and I can eyeball in to where I would like that. And I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a little wider, just a smidge taller. Something like that. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to select them both. I'm going to align and center just to see what that looks like. And maybe I would like it just a smidge taller. Now I know that I need this little rectangle. So let's go ahead and pull this in. And just for the sake of being able to see it, let's just change its color. And we know that it's going to be that same beigey color, so we will make it beige. And we need to bring it to the front. There we go. All right, so there it is. Now I'm going to change the size on it. And I think that looks about good. All right, doesn't have to be perfect. And it definitely doesn't have to be exactly like it was before. Now, while we're here doing this, let's go ahead and do this one too. All right, so let's go ahead. And this is going to be the liner for the inside of the card. So if we look at how big our card front is, let's bring it to the front. We can sort of look and decide how big we want that. And I think that's about right. Maybe a smidge wider. And then we'll go ahead and bring this one in, move it to the front. I'm left clicking and then clicking bring to the front. Let's make it that beige color. All right. Whoops, we need to unlock. There we go. And that's going to put our sentiment into place. All right. Now, since this piece is really simple, let's start with our inside liner. I know that I want this to be this really pretty paper from Victoria Designs. So I have chosen my piece by clicking. I'm going to come up here and click the little triangle. And I want this to be a print thin cut. Then I click the black square. I don't want it to be a color. I want it to be a pattern. So I go and I look, and I have lots of patterns in here. So I'm going to filter. I'm going to filter by red. And then I'm going to see all of my red patterns come up. And it looks as if I did not save this one by color. That's not like me, but I'm going to trust that I didn't. So let's just go back and let's go to pattern, and we'll just choose it this way. I'll just look for it. And there it is. I choose. And there we are. Now you'll see that I've got this line where the pattern repeat is. So I can edit this pattern, bump it up a little bit. I can move it to the right. I can move it to the left. I still need to bump up though. I can move it up and down. And that looks pretty good. I like that. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to X out, and there it is. Now this piece is just going to be regular creamy colored, but see how I set this off a little bit with the red around it? Easy. I just click this piece, so I left click. I say I want to offset. I pull this over just a smidge. And maybe I want even less than that. I can use the arrows on my keyboard, take it to the left. That'll bring it down. And see how the number got smaller here? I hit apply. And I can make it any color I like up here. I can choose any color. And I can change the color even more here if I want it darker. So there we are. Now, I have this love you here. So I'm going to go to Images, left click, type in on my keyboard, love you. And I didn't get my O in there, so I may need to go in and get that O in. Now let's try it. I simply click it and add to canvas. Obviously it's way too big, so I just bring it down to the size I like. Bring it in. Like so. Now, I also put a heart in on this. So again, I just come up to Images, type in heart, and I choose, I think I'll choose a different heart this time rather than continue to look for that particular one. If you like that one though, I will go ahead and link it below. This one is from 3 Feelings. So I'm going to size it down, turn it, size it down a little further, and I'm going to move it backwards. There are 2 ways I can do this. I can come over here into the columns and I can just bring it down that way. That's one way to do it. You can also click on it and you can say to bring it forward or move it backwards. You can do that also. All right. So I like it right where it is. And again, if I just want to move that little heart, I can do that. Bring it up or down, make it bigger, smaller, whatever I want to do. Now, I might feel like this is a little bit too bright, so I can change the color there. Go to Advanced and make it lighter. And now I'm going to select everything, and I am going to flatten. So my inside liner is ready to print and cut. All right, let's move on to the front of the card now. Let's go ahead and remove this card back. And we know we want this heart, so I'm going to bring in that shape. I'm going to figure out what size I want this shape to be. I'm going to bring it in here. I'm going to bump it up a little bit. Bring it in and put it just slightly over the top and the left-hand side of this outside piece. If you want to make sure you're just a tiny bit over, what you can do is you can select your heart, then hit your shift key, hold your shift key down and select the square, then come up to align, and you can say align left, you can say align tap. Now come back and select just your heart, use your arrow key, bump up 1, 2 times maybe, then your arrow key to the left 1, 2 times. All right, so now we've got that heart slightly up. I'm going to make this bigger. Slightly up and over the top, slightly up and over the left-hand side. Now, before we move on from here and we actually do the slice, we're going to duplicate this heart. We're going to pull it over here, and you'll see why in just a minute. All right, now we're going to choose this heart, click our shift key, hold it down, and hit square. Now we've got those both chosen. We can choose our slice, and that will slice that out. So now we can get rid of this piece, this slice result. We're going to delete. We have another slice result here that we can delete. This slice result, shift key, square. I'm going to slice that. All right, so we do not need this piece. We can delete that. We do not need this piece right here, but if we delete it, it will delete this because it's still the same piece. So hang tight a minute. We're going to get rid of this piece. We're going to delete it. This piece right here, delete it. Now, these pieces right here, we still need to get rid of. But that's easy. Just bring in another square, duplicate it, bring in your square and place it right inside of here. So you've got a little bit of space here and a little bit of space here. This square is already selected. Now you're going to hit your shift key and you are going to select slice result. Slice. Pull this away, and now this is gone. Now you're going to bring this piece in. You're going to, this is already selected. Going to hit your shift key and you're going to choose this piece, that cream piece. You're going to slice that. Now pull all of this away. Select it, delete it, and it's gone. Now we are set. All right. All right. I'm going to bump this back up. Because now we're going to go ahead and we're going to print our pattern paper. Well, we're not going to print it. We're going to choose it. So we have selected this piece. We're going to say that we want it to be a print then cut. Click the box, click color, click pattern, choose our pattern. I'm going to go ahead and edit this pattern because I see this line here. So I'm going to move it to the right, which is the up arrow. There we go. I'm going to move it down just for fun here. Right. And I'm going to say that's fine. Now, this heart, I'm going to bring this heart back in like so. Now, if I bump this even more, you can see that it's not perfectly in place. First thing I'm going to do is select my heart. I can do it right over here. I want to bring that to the front. So I right-clicked, bring to front. I'm going to make it a tiny bit bigger. And I'm going to make sure this really is brought to the front. There we go. Now I want to change the color. So I'm hitting this black. I'm going to bring in this color. It's a little bright for me. So again, I can bring it to wherever I like it. See how we can change the color here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to select all of it and I'm going to flatten. Now, did you notice here that this pattern, I caught it on a repeat right here? That's okay. You can just hit your back arrow. Select it one more time, unflatten, select that again, click this little square, edit the pattern, bump it up a little bit, or you can move it to the left, and there we go, we fixed it. Okay, you can't see it fixed here yet, but you can see it fixed right here. Okay, X, there we are. Select it all, again, flatten, and there's our piece. But what about our little mouse and what about our words? Okay, well, let's make this smaller. Let's bring our little mouse down, left click, bring to the front, put them right into place here. Then for the words, you can just go search for any Happy Valentine's Day back in images like we did before. So here it is. I'm going to need to click and bring to the front. Now, I'm going to have to size it down a smidge. There we go. And I decided that it would be fun to have just a little bit behind it. How I did that is, again, I went up to my offset and I took it down just a little bit so it wasn't so big. Maybe a little bit bigger. There we go. Apply. Push it off to the right just slightly. And I decided I didn't really want it black. I wanted it more of a brown. So what I did is I just changed the color here and I just made it a really dark brown there, I believe is what I did. Let's just do this. So it's not quite so black. Then I choose everything again, flatten, and there it is. So now I have my card front all done. Now one more thing. If you want this to pop off the front of the card, I cut a piece out of cereal box to go underneath here. So all you need to do is take this piece, hit offset the entire piece. But instead of doing an offset, you'll do an inset. So you've got your offset. You'll move it slightly to the left. And if you want it a little bit bigger, you can use your arrow key. Now what's happening is it's picking up some of what's going on here. Don't worry about that right now. I'm going to make it a square corner and I'm going to apply. All you need to do now is you choose this, change it from a print then cut to a basic cut. Now you can come over to contour over in the right hand panel, hide all contours, X, and there it is. And that will be your cereal box piece that you can put underneath here so that it will slightly pop off the card. Okay, any comments or questions, leave them in the box below. Okay, and I will be happy to get back with you on that. For now, let's head on over to the craft table for a very, very quick put together. Because if you've hung with me this long, you deserve a quick put together, right? All right, I'll see you at the craft table. So here we are at the craft table. The front and the liner for my card, the piece of cereal box, my card blank, some gems, and a piece of ribbon that I've actually used before. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just take a little ATG and adhere my card liner. Just that quick and easy. Now I'm going to take my cereal box piece, a little ATG covered with fabric tack, and again we're going to place that cereal box piece in there. This is just going to give it a little lift off the page. Now I'm going to go around with a little bit of ink just to finish up those edges. A little more fabric tack and glue, and we've got the card front in place. Tie a knot in our ribbon, cut off the ends, and we'll adhere that with a little bit of fabric tack also. Now, if you're wondering where this cute little mouse came from, this is a Connie Fong image, Maisie and Cory mice bundle. I will definitely put that in below so you can find that and pick that up if you'd like to. Now, you know that if I'm coming to the gems, we're at the end of the video. I'm just going to place a few little decorative gems in place, give the card a little bit of sprinkle, and it'll be the perfect Valentine. Hey, thanks for joining me today. This was a long video, so I so appreciate your time today. Any questions, comments, please leave them in the box below. I will leave for you all the information about the products I used and anything else that's pertinent to this card. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I will catch up with you in the next video. Bye.